fabled heat, where magic meets desire. Subscribe to ignite the fantasy.
I've always been a man on the run. My name is Jack the Ghost Griffin, and I've made a living as a gunman for hire. But now it seems I've got a price on my head. The words still echo in my mind like a curse. Hey, Mr. Gunman, you got a bounty on your head. You better run, man, or else you're gonna wind up dead. I was sitting in a dimly lit saloon nursing a whiskey when I heard the warning. The speaker was a stranger, a young woman with piercing green eyes and long, curly brown hair. She was dressed in a worn leather duster and a wide-brimmed hat, and she looked like she'd been riding for days. I'd never seen her before, but there was something about her that seemed familiar. As she walked away, I felt a shiver run down my spine. Who was she, and how did she know about the bounty? I'd been careful, always covering my tracks and using aliases. But I knew that in my line of work, you're only as good as your last job, and my last job had been a doozy. I'd taken on a job from a wealthy rancher, protecting his land from a group of rustlers. But things had gone sideways, and I'd ended up killing one of the rustlers. Now it seemed the rancher had put a price on my head, and every bounty hunter in the territory was after me. I tossed a few coins on the bar and stood up, my eyes scanning the room. The patrons were all staring at me, their faces a mixture of fear and curiosity. I knew I had to get out of there, and fast. As I walked out of the saloon, I felt a hand on my arm. It was the woman again, her grip tight. "You're coming with me," she said, her voice low and husky. I tried to shake her off, but she held tight. "Who are you?" I demanded. "My name is Emily," she replied, her eyes glinting in the sunlight. "And I'm the only one who can help you." I raised an eyebrow. "What makes you think I need your help?" Emily smiled, a small, wry smile. "You're a smart man, Jack. You know you can't outrun the bounty hunters forever, but with my help you might just have a chance." I hesitated, unsure of what to do, but something about Emily's words resonated with me. Maybe it was the way she looked at me, like she saw something in me that no one else did, or maybe it was just the fact that I had no other options. Whatever the reason, I found myself following Emily out of town into the unknown. We rode for hours, the sun beating down on us, until we reached a small cabin on the outskirts of a forest. As we dismounted, Emily turned to me and said, "Welcome to your new home, Jack, at least for a while." I raised an eyebrow. "What do you mean?" Emily smiled again. "You're going to lay low here for a while until the heat dies down, and then, well, we'll see." I felt a spark of curiosity ignite within me. What did Emily have planned, and why was she helping me? As we entered the cabin, I saw that it was small but cozy, with a fire crackling in the hearth. Emily gestured for me to sit down, and I did, feeling a sense of exhaustion wash over me. As we sat there in silence, I couldn't help but steal glances at Emily. She was beautiful in a rugged, untamed way, and there was something about her that drew me in, something that made me feel like I could trust her. Over the next few days, Emily and I settled into a routine. We'd spend our days hunting and gathering, and our nights sitting by the fire talking. I learned that Emily was a former outlaw who turned her life around after a stint in prison. She was tough and resourceful, but there was a vulnerability to her that I found intriguing. As we talked, I found myself feeling more and more drawn to Emily. It wasn't just physical attraction, although that was definitely there. It was something deeper, something that made me feel like I'd found a kindred spirit. But I knew that I couldn't let my feelings get the better of me. I was a man on the run, and I couldn't afford to get tangled up in a relationship. Not now, not when my life was on the line, or so I thought. As the days turned into weeks, I found myself growing more and more attached to Emily. We'd laugh together and fight together, and I'd catch glimpses of a deep sadness in her eyes that made me want to hold her close. One night as we sat by the fire, Emily turned to me and said, "Jack, I have to tell you something." I looked at her, my heart pounding in my chest. "What is it?" Emily took a deep breath. "I'm not just helping you out of the goodness of my heart. I have a reason for wanting to keep you safe." I raised an eyebrow. "What reason?" Emily's eyes locked onto mine, and I felt a jolt of electricity run through my body. "I think we might be connected, Jack, in a way that goes beyond just friendship." I felt my heart skip a beat. Connected? What did she mean? But before I could ask, Emily leaned in, her lips brushing against mine, and I knew in that moment that I was in trouble, deep, deep trouble. As we kissed, I felt a spark ignite within me. It was like nothing I'd ever felt before, a sense of connection that went beyond just physical attraction. And as we pulled back, gasping for air, I knew that I was hooked. I was in this, whatever this was, and I was willing to see it through to the end. But as we sat there, holding each other, I couldn't shake the feeling that we were being watched, that there were eyes on us, waiting for us to make our next move, and I knew that our troubles were far from over.